Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a engine service on this Golf 11 plate, which includes oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, and yeah, let's just crack on with that. First thing we're going to want to do is change the air filter. We've got 7 T20 screws, we're just going to go ahead and remove those. So as you can see, the air filter is a lot cleaner than the old one. Make sure you line this properly. Fuel filter. These are T30s, I believe. There's 5 screws. Just remember guys, when you do change the fuel filter, you are going to get a little bit of fuel spilled. To get a flat screwdriver, just stick it in there, just sort of move it around a little bit. There's the fuel, until it's free, and there we go. So once you've taken out the fuel filter, there's a little washer here where by my thumb is, that needs changing, just in case, you know, when you put it back, it rips it open and then fuel starts leaking everywhere. There's the new fuel filter and the seal. I'm gonna go ahead now and put those on. So we stuck the new filter on there and the washer. While we put that in there, we're gonna also put some injection cleaner on there. Just because we lost some of the fuel that it previously had in the filter and it won't start after, so as you can see, it probably still needs a little bit more because the fuel is not coming up. I always like to add a little bit extra. If it spills a little bit, then it's okay, to be honest, as long as I know there's no air traps inside. As you can see now, if I push it down, it's gonna spill a little bit, which is what I want, to be honest. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick the screws in there. That way when we put it back, there's no air leak and I don't have to worry about bleeding the system after. So yeah, that's all done now. Just gonna give it a start to see if everything's fine. I prefer to keep my foot on the gas a little bit. So I see it's all good now. Oh, turned off. Yeah, as I said, you gotta keep your all good. Just that little bit of air that was trapped in there caused it to stop straight away. As I said, yeah, if you put the injection cleaner in there, you shouldn't have an issue. Might do a little cut out like this one, but in the end it will be okay. If you don't do that, then you have to bleed the system, and it is a really long process, which we'll probably show in another video. So the next thing we're going to do is change the oil filter, which is located under this engine cover here, and you do need to move a couple of things out of the way, which I'll show you in a sec. So the first thing you need to do is just unplug this little sensor here. Then you remove this with a T30. So that's out the way, and as you can see, it's right down there. I believe that is a 32mm socket. So yeah, we've got our 32mm socket on there. You're going to want a little extension like this one and the ratchet, and then it's just straightforward. So yeah, just anti-clockwise and come straight off. So the next thing we're going to do is lift up the car. Make sure you got it in the right place, otherwise it could damage something. So once you're done lifting the car up, you're going to want to secure it underneath, because you can't always trust the jack. So the next thing you want to do is get this axle stand and just put it all the way down. Lift it up a little bit. That's alright, should be okay there. I'm not going to leave it there because I need it for the oil, so I'll just push it down a little bit more. Just leave that there. So for the oil sump nut, you want a 19mm. Just move this out of the way a little bit. They're usually quite tight, which they shouldn't really be. So I just prefer to use my hand most of the times. There we go. And it should come off by hand. So we'll let that drain about, let's say, 5 minutes. It will drain a lot quicker than that, but just to get all the last bits out. So while we got the oil draining, next thing we're going to do is remove the filter from its housing, change the 3 seals, rubber seals, which is one here, and one down here. Go ahead and do that now. So once the seals are out, you just have to pull out the oil filter. It just pulls out. It's nothing too special towards it. There we go. I'm trying to record and do this at the same time. You make sure it clicks, or you hear that clicking sound, because otherwise. So the next thing you do, you put all the other rubber seals on. As I said, one here, and one there. So as you can see, we've got all 3 seals on now. I try to lubricate them a little bit, so you know they don't break while you're putting it back on. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on.
Yeah, it won't take long.
Now that the filter is back on, I'm going to go ahead and put this little bracket back on. Got the screw. Just give it a little bit of tightness. That's that. And make sure you plug this thing back in. That's it. So once the oil filter and everything is done, come back down here. There's still a little bit of oil dripping, but even if you leave it all day, oil is gonna drip. So just put the sump nut back on. Just make sure it's nice and tight. And that's that. So the next thing I'm going to do is drop the car down a little bit. I'm not going to drop it all the way because I'm still on a little bit of slant. But make sure the car is nice and level before you start adding oil. And again, we'll start with about 4 liters of oil and then go from there on. So 4.5 liters first, and then we'll check it. So 4.5 liters was correct. It's touching just under the maximum, which I prefer to leave, because if I give it another 5 minutes or so, it will hit that maximum, and that's all it needs. Next thing is the engine cover. So with the engine cover, it's got 4 points it needs to sit on. Hi, it's Nathan. 3 points to sit on, and that's it. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Please like and subscribe, and for more future videos, stay tuned.